Well, good evening, YouTube. And welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino Beer Review. Today we are looking at a beer that was sent to me by the one, the only, Jamie from Basement Beer Reviews. Thank you very much, Jamie, for sending this out. This is right here. It's a Waterloo beer. Waterloo Brewing Company, also known as the Brick Brewing Company. This is their Sour Weisse or Sour Wheat. It is 4% alcohol by volume. And yeah, that's about all I can tell you from this. It's one of their small batch beers. There you go. You know what? In all honesty, I'm going to assume this is a Berliner Weisse because I can't see any ingredients on here and it doesn't say anything about salt. So I'm going to go with a Berliner Weisse, a sour wheat beer. Sour wheat, German style beer, and then a Gose would be the sour wheat with salt added. What I was going to say is Waterloo Brewing is a brewery that was one of the first breweries that I started drinking that had different things way back when. I mean, you had Waterloo Dark, then they came out with Amber and Pilsner and all of those, the IPA. But the beers were never spectacular. They were basically like a step up from a macro company beer. And then, like the macro companies, they started doing small batch beers that were really intriguing beers that really made me happy. I mean, they had their blueberry wheat, they had their double Doppelbock, which was their coffee Doppelbock, which was a great beer. Their maple porter was a great beer. They really started turning things around, in my opinion, and really getting me interested in their beers again. And this is a nice looking beer. About there, I can see my hand a little bit. I can't make out my hand, but I can see the light changing. About right there, I can make out my fingers. So nice and hazy, very, very unfiltered, bright white head. Snap, crackle, pop is there, but it's not immense. There is little tunnels forming in the head. I think of all the beers from Waterloo I've had, this one's keeping its head the longest too. This is a really intriguing beer. Nice golden color. Let's give her a sniff. Okay, so obviously kettle soured. How should I say this without it being taken wrongly? Because I don't want it to be taken wrongly. This beer smells like a lot of the sours in the style of sour that I don't like, where they're going to be very acidic and very vinegary. It has that perm chemical smell. How do you know what a perm chemical smells like, Chad? My mother used to run a hair salon in the basement when we lived in Ottawa. I also had my bedroom in the basement when I lived in Ottawa. I was a wrestler and a rugby player and did track, like shot put and all that, and it worked out in the weight room all the time and ran all the time and did strongman and Highland Games and all that. So when I was home, if I wasn't working out or doing homework, I was sleeping. So she would start doing her little perms and stuff on the little old ladies, and I'd wake up to a smell quite akin to this. So not particularly a smell I like. Visual appeal on the beer, A+. Smell on the beer, probably a D for me. Let's give the beer a try though. Taste matters the most. Cheers. Okay. Not quite as bad as I thought it was going to be honest with you. I was expecting that perm chemical-like taste as well. Not really getting that. I can't say it's tart. It actually is a sour beer. It actually is a sour wheat. It has that heavier mouthfeel. It has that slightly creamier mouthfeel. It has just that dryness that wheat beers give off, that just neutral grain dryness right in the middle. And it's very sour. But that dryness from the wheat comes through in the finish. I mean, it's very sour, and then it becomes really dry, like you just ate a piece of whole grain bread. Yeah. Really sour. Then that dryness, which cleans the palate out. And then you just get left with like a bready biscuitiness in the end. All in all, that's not bad. It's not overly flavorful. I don't think it's a Berliner Weisse where you would have to actually, use the Woodruff. You could use the Woodruff syrup. You could put the syrup in and drink it through the straw like traditionally, and it may sweeten it up to a point where it's really, really enjoyable. But at this point, it's not enjoyable. It's just not spectacular. I actually think this beer is kind of nice. And mattering what price the can is, it could be something that I would buy. I mean, if this can is under $3, and I really think it should be, I do know that $3 is basically the going rate now, where a few years back, craft beer going rates was like $2.50 a can. But I understand it's not their fault. Taxes keep going up. But I mean, if this is between like $2.75 and $2.95, I could probably see myself getting into this more often than not. If it's $3 and up, I don't know if I would, because there's so many things in that $2.95 and below range that I could buy. Maybe not necessarily a Berliner Weisse or a Goza, but there's so many beers in that range that I could buy. So I didn't like the smell. I like the look. Well, I really like the look. And I like the taste. Out of 10 on this, I'll give it a 7.25. It's not a bad beer. So again, Waterloo, not a brewery that I've been really sold on until recently, and it's their small batch beers that are really getting me. And I really hope to get more of their small batch beers, and I really hope they continue doing these small batch beers, because they have so much more flavor and so much more inventiveness than the regular Waterloo lineup. So thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you, Jamie, for sending this beer out. Basement Beer Reviews, go check them out. Sign up, subscribe if you are not. And yeah. Cheers.